In order to play any musical idea, we will always need to connect the notes together. And it would seem a very obvious thought, so what's the problem? The thing is that, for example, on the piano, right, sound production is quite simple. You press one key, then you press the next one, and you don't really have to worry about anything. But on an electric guitar, on a regular guitar, but especially on an electric guitar, sound production involves both hands. So our task will be to get the left and right hands to work together, that is, in sync. So that, for example, instead of two notes, a third one doesn't suddenly sound. So, roughly speaking, if your task is to play something like this kind of thing, right? Then how a beginner would most often play it. Something like this. Yes, this error might be smaller. So it turns out the ring finger will slap down before the right hand strikes. It'll be just a bit. But nevertheless, the note will be ruined and it will be audible, because that percussive element will be lost. To overcome the desync, I suggest doing a certain exercise. And maybe even play this riff if you feel like it. Okay, let's go. The exercise you can start with is basic chromatics, where we play like all the notes, just like that, one after another, with 4 fingers in half steps. It sounds terrible, really, but the exercise is extremely useful because we use each of the fingers. For some reason, an opinion has been trending online that like the exercise is useless, but you guys are probably doing it wrong, not paying attention to the right things. So what needs to be done? First, we position the left hand in such a way that all your fingers are lined up like this, so that along the way you don't have to twist your hand like this. Let's set the hand right away so the knuckles are parallel to the fretboard, and so you can move your fingers like how a spider moves its legs, right? And like hammers, striking a piano string. Okay, so we place the right hand on the strings. Say I chose the 4th string, so the edge of the palm mutes the 6th and 5th, and the index finger mutes the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd. We play 7, 8, 9, 10 respectively. So we strike the first note with the index finger, and the pick, we strike specifically with the index and focus on the right hand, so that the note clicks evenly, clearly, and sharply, without any of that early pressing and that extra sound before the pick attack. If it doesn't work at all, then do it in a really deliberate, almost silly way. Strike first and then press down. Let it sound stupid, but at this moment we're breaking our brain and building, roughly speaking, a new pattern in our head. Okay, so we've played the first finger and then we place the middle one. Here the index finger should release, but not jump out like this. Because if it flies out like that, that's it, we lose the muting here. And this way it should catch the strings. So, here's the finger pressed down, and here it's released. Pressed, released. The difference is minimal. No need to lift the finger high. We've played up to the ring finger, so at this point the middle finger is already relaxed, meaning it's no longer pressing the string. And then, consequently, only the pinky remains. If you can't get the synchronization right here, there's a kind of life hack for this exercise. We can, for example, pre-press the index finger and then with an upstroke, strike from silence. This note, right? With the middle finger. Just like this. And you can do the same with all the others. Here, the ring finger. And here's the pinky. If you manage to put this together somehow, then it makes sense to think about moving from string to string. So, for example, let's change the fingering. Let's take this pattern, right? We have 7, 9, 10, and 7 again. So, what do? We play it exactly the same with alternate picking. Down, up, up. But notice that the string transition here with the right hand will be like the pick tracing a bit of a figure 8. So we'll need to go down, up, down. And here we should end up like lower than the 3rd string. So the pick will move slightly to the side to make the next upstroke. Now, regarding the left hand. When we press the pinky, we'll simultaneously move the index finger to the next string, so the left hand stays a step ahead, avoiding a last second jump or rush with the index finger. So, let's play it. And we catch the muting here with the palm's edge. So the 4th string is muted in theory and in practice too. In some cases you can use the index finger to brace the string, but that's more for those moments when you have some riffs and you're playing power chords. I mean, it's to give the right hand more range. But here, you'll also need precision. So, once we've reached the top note in the exercise, we can basically head back down. Accordingly, it's the same, but the downward movement is more difficult. When we hit this note with an upstroke, the pick actually goes above the fourth string, and then we press the pinky finger down, release the index finger, and immediately move it over to the fifth string. You end up with something like this. Each note should really click, producing a clear and distinct sound, and then you'll be making steady progress toward better synchronization. It's crucial to find the sync first, and only then speed it up. So all of this must be done super slowly. Prepare for each note for half an hour, maybe count it out in your head like 1, 2, 3, bam, and then you'll start to get it. So, let's take a look at what's going on here in more detail. We start with an F-sharp power chord from the 9th fret of the 5th string. And your task here with the left hand will be not to rush the press, but to hit the 5th and 4th strings cleanly with the right, so the power chord really bursts in. There shouldn't be any kind of extra noise. Next, after we've played this power chord, your task will be to synchronously, with a palm muted strike on the 5th string, right? On a group of palm muted notes, 4 palm muted notes, we release the pinky so it stops sounding. After we've played these 4 little notes here, we take and use the phalanx to press a 4th here. This is a tricky spot, guys, because you need to press exactly what's needed, feel the spot, and strike it all in sync, of course. Extra strings will try to get in the way here, and so on. Press the 4th with the phalanx and play the pedal note again. At the same time, after I've played this 4th, I'll naturally ease the pressure here, so the strings are no longer pressed and they go quiet. After that, we have the power chord again. And here's a difficult moment. We move over to this 6th chord. It turns out we had the index finger here before, and now our task is to move this whole shape without making any scratching noise. So we do it as sharply as possible and right on the beat. We played 2 pedal notes here and then take this chord accordingly. After this chord, we fly out in sync, right here to this very fast 16th note phrase with the index finger. So we are again moving the hand, but keeping the note in place. It turns out the index finger now holds what the ring finger was holding. And here we play. It's really very important to make sure you stay in sync here, because if your left hand happens to rush, even just a little bit, it'll honestly feel like there's an extra note right before the pick strike. So the percussion in the stroke will kind of get lost. The stroke will become a bit more muddy, which of course you shouldn't do. Accordingly, the hardest part here is probably keeping an eye on the pinky, because when you place the ring finger, the pinky will naturally follow it, so you have to control it. After playing this part upwards, we go back down to the 12th fret, and then we'll have this note on the 4th string at the 12th fret. We play this note with a downstroke and go here with an upstroke. Then we play. The 5th string is constantly palm muted, while the 4th ends up being accented. At the end, we give it 2 bends like this, making sure to return the note to its place. After we've played the vibrato, we play the same phrase from the beginning, so we get that stupid 4th under the phalanx again, 2 palm mutes, then we put the pinky down, hit the power chord, and after that we'll have this kind of thing. Here is actually not that critical which string you hit during the transition. It's more important to give it that percussion, like click, click, you know, to squeeze in 2/16. You can do it on the 6th or the 5th. And then we move our hand over here to this chord. And what are we doing here? Put your index and ring fingers on the power chord. Yes, guys, we really do use the ring finger here, and we strike it first. And then another strike. And then we put the pinky on the 13th fret of the 3rd string. You can do a sharp strike across all the strings, so it really kind of sparkles for you. From here, we slide out to somewhere in the middle of nowhere and mute the thin string with the base of the index finger along the way. And then also, out of nowhere, we kind of burst into the power chord and repeat the cycle. And accordingly, the second round will be exactly the same, except for the ending. So there, instead of this chord, where, by the way, I should point out, I forgot to say that I move my hand forward. Well, I think that's logical, right? To strike all these open strings so that we don't mute anything here anymore. Okay, second round, the ending. On the 6th string, palm mute on the same one, and then put your middle finger on the 9th fret of the 3rd string and strike it. Something like that. It's a bit out of tune, I'm sorry. It should also naturally sparkle. After we've held this part here, we'll have the power chord again, and the same synchronization here. The rhythm here will be a bit complex and tricky. The thing is, these are quarter note triplets. How do you even approach practicing them with a metronome? Either you just turn off your brain and hear only the first and third beats in the measure, and calmly lay them out between them like a regular triplet, like 3 notes from the first to the third, and 3 notes from the third to the first. Or if that method doesn't work, then you have to sit down and count it out like 8th note triplets. You can also count it using the conical system, takita, takita, takita. And accordingly, we play then with a skip, not a skip, but on every 2 syllables in the phrase takita, right? So it turns out like this. Takita, 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 ta. I just played it so that instead of the E power chord here, you can just play the 6th string on the transition. So it won't be very noticeable. It won't bother anyone. So that's a riff for synchronization.